by the way, this next icebreaker is quite literally from the absolutely newest member of Queen City Toastmasters. I know that for a fact because he submitted his application and paid his dues just before tonight's meeting, and he's already ready to go with that icebreaker. So this is going to be a very, very good one. I'm looking forward to this too. His icebreaker this evening is titled A Year to Remember. Please welcome Mark Menezes.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. You get the privilege of hearing my first Toast rookie speech today. And I'm excited to tell you a lot about myself. The title of my speech, as you heard, is A Year to Remember. And before I can get to why this last year, which is what I'm referring to specifically as A Year to Remember, I want to give you a little background about myself. I'm originally from Toronto. I grew up, born and raised there, one of those guys that get to carry around 2 passports. So I'm an American and Canadian dual citizen. And I'm a huge hockey fan because of that. It would basically be ignominy to not be a hockey fan in Canada. And when I was about 10 years old, I moved down to South Carolina with my family for my dad's job, and you can imagine that I was pretty culture shocked moving from a city like Toronto to a small town in South Carolina. And I really enjoyed my time in South Carolina. I was there for about 10 or 11 years as well. And I attended the University of South Carolina, go Cox for anyone in here. I had a great experience there. I was an accounting major, and I minored in finance and also minored in French. I do speak French proficiently, but I'm going to put a caveat on that and say please don't propose for me to make any speeches hereafter in French, because I wouldn't like to do that. And after college I worked in Charleston for about a year, and that's what then brought me to Charlotte for a job. And that's what really brings me into this year of why I want to talk about this is really a memorable year for me and will always be. One of the goals that I had in college was to work for one of the big 4 accounting firms. It was really an aspiration I had from bowling, my father's footsteps, from bowling, from what a lot of my friends were planning on doing. It was just a big career aspiration for me. Unfortunately, the first time I applied, it didn't work out for me. I was pretty disappointed, I was pretty demoralized that a lot of my friends set on to that journey and it didn't work out for me. So throughout the year in Charleston, I decided to go to graduate school, pursue an MBA. And throughout that time, I worked at a job that I wasn't really suited for me, nor was it what I exactly wanted, but I stuck it out. I worked hard, networked, and did very well in my MBA program. Fortunately, my second year around applying for the same company, Ernst & Young, they finally gave me a job offer. They gave me a job offer here in Charlotte, and that's what brought me here this past year. And I'm happy to say now that I'm a CPA licensed as of just 2 months ago. And the second part of why I think that this year is very important to me is a much more serious topic, is that I underwent a very serious health issue. A year ago, I didn't imagine or even thought that I could be standing here making a speech. I couldn't walk up flights of stairs, I couldn't run, I couldn't exercise. I had some lung illness that was unexplained. It came out of nowhere, being a healthy person my whole life, and all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with a no-name lung and sinus disorder. And throughout this time, for the past year, I struggled to understand what it was. I saw doctors all over the country, and I tried to figure out diagnosis. Up to this day, there's still not a name for what I had. However, long or short of it is, about 6 months ago, from some couple of surgeries, from some strict regimens, no medications at all, just disease or disorder finally went into remission 100%. I was amazed with the result. I don't know how exactly it happened, but all I know is that this is going to be something that I'll never forget. These two events that are so important to me that my career finally fell into place, the most challenging and very serious illness that really did work out for me, and I'm 100% better now. I can say that I've never been happier than ever, and this is a year, 2013, an unlucky year that most people would consider. It's a very lucky and awesome year for me. Mr. Toastmasters.